If it's almost impossible to offend nearly every facet of society in a swooping set of emails like Jon Gruden, quote unquote, successfully did. Wow. I mean, I was just talking to Stu Getz about this down the line before the start of the show. I mean, obviously, the Raiders had to fire him. You and I had our opinions before, resign, fire, whatever, he's gone. We had our opinions yesterday about what he said about DeMaurice Smith, and I thought a suspension was in order. When everything else came, you had no other recourse. This had to happen, clearly. But what I think is most disconcerting is for Jon Gruden, who you know is not alone, to have this level of comfort, right, with a former NFL exec in Bruce Allen.
Oh, he was still an NFL exec.
I'm saying now, true. Good point, but I'm saying now, but absolutely, that is important. To have that level of freedom, that comfort, that familiarity, to disparage women and gay people and every walk of society. Who else was chirping to Bruce Allen? This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Well,
dude.
I think you're right. And this all comes out because of some investigations that have been going on behind the scenes, all surrounding the Washington football team and Daniel Snyder. We all remember when this happened it was, about a year and a half ago or so, I believe, that this first started percolating. And, it just felt odd at the time. The allegations that were thrown out there against Daniel Snyder and the fact that it was reported in the Washington Post and the political implications that come from that and who owns the Post and et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
And we knew that the minority owners, including Fred Smith and Walt Schar, I forget the other one now, Robert Rothman, were looking to exit their investment in the Washington football team. And so they dug up some dirt on Daniel Snyder and tried to put it out there. And we all know how that transpired. It created a massive internal investigation with the Washington football team. And then ultimately, Daniel Snyder, after getting some level of distance from it, started to fire back. And I think he filed a defamation suit, which triggered discovery. And as part of this process, both from the NFL and from the Washington football team side, all of this trove of emails started coming out. This is a decade ago.
Yep.
So you can imagine what exists in all of those emails. And
that's what I'm saying.
When we first saw this report, this happened on Sunday, actually, of Jon Gruden and the DeMaurice Smith comments, which were highly insensitive, certainly a racist trope. And even though he tried to explain it away, as we talked about yesterday, I was talking about lying. I wasn't talking about, big lips on black people, which is a stereotype that is obviously negatively connotated. You knew that there was more that was coming. And the rest, and I'm sure there's more that's going to come out after this, was just too damning for the league. And, it's a shame because I think Jon Gruden is a dude's dude, so to speak. He may be a little bit small-minded, as I've heard say today, or just behind the times, the evolution of the times, trying to be cool, fit in, say these things that you used to be able to get away with, maybe in the 70s and 80s. You just can't live that existence anymore. This homophobic and racist, misogynistic, moral licensing. I have black friends. I'm not racist. I got a gay guy on my team. I'm not homophobic. That licensing that people tend to get just because of what's associated around them is disappointing. And I wish I could say that Jon Gruden was the only one. I'm sure there were many, many more. Yep. They just haven't been exposed yet. So as this thing continues to play itself out, it'll be interesting to see what else happens, what other shoe falls.
See, you know what's amazing, too? It's very rare, though I did hear a few, but it was 10 years ago, or, but what about the statute of limitations, or he didn't commit a crime, but for the most part, as much as society is divided on a lot of things, this was pretty much in unison, and rightfully so, a universal understanding that this guy had to go. I mean, you were watching this unfold last night in real time. Adam Schefter's jumping on the screen. He's been breaking news, cutting in during the game. It's wild. And it's an incredible, precipitous thud of a fall from grace. And, there's really nothing else to say. He had to go. I think the thing is that I look back to our conversation yesterday. It's amazing. I put out a tweet yesterday that and I expressed this on the air, obviously, that I wasn't speaking, even though you shared the same sentiment, but I spoke, obviously, for myself on social media, that I did not think he should have been fired. I thought he should have been suspended. All right, I thought the Raiders really woefully dropped the ball, tapped the brakes, put him aside. Let's get some resolution as we probe deeper into this. Instead, he's on the field coaching, which was a blatant disregard for the insensitivity to what was out there and the feelings that were hurt and the emotions that were spiking. But the reason I didn't want to see him fired for the one email is because, and I've said this on the show a few times when it pops up, and it has many times, this is not cancel culture. This is different. This is just a grown man rightfully having to lie in the bed that he made for himself. This is not cancel culture, but I'm reticent to dive into that end of the pool for, one instance before everything else came out, because I think when you cancel somebody swiftly, right, we lose the opportunity for that person to not only make amends, but to grow and to maybe make a bad or good. And ultimately, that's what we're chasing as society. I think most of us are chasing that. I don't know if everybody is, but I know I am.
It's still a business, though, and I think that's what this came down to. I think that Mark Davis of the Oakland Raiders, the owner of the Oakland Raiders, he had some intel on this long before the second drop of emails came out, and he was forced to fire Jon Gruden. They were likely trying to figure out a way to mitigate it in any possible way. But at the end of the day, the business of the game is centered around entertainment and attracting everybody who wants to embrace the game, can come in and embrace it. And when you have one of the larger names, a Super Bowl winning coach, playing for a storied, even if troubled at times franchise in the Oakland, now Las Vegas Raiders, right? There's not a team that's just stuck in the doldrums of fifth or sixth games on a weekend. They're always prominent, right?
High profile.
The brand is as big as it possibly gets in the NFL. In fact, people who are agnostic to a team, they'll like the Raiders because they got cool unis and they got cool hats and things of that nature. And now their head coach is caught up in this, alienating troves of fans for myriads of reasons. It wasn't just one or two or three.
No, it was everything.
It was 4 or 5 or 6.
It was every facet of society.
That's
like
right,
I said,
that he was offending. And I don't know what's in his heart. Is he racist or homophobic or whatever else he I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe he was saying those things just to be cool. I have no idea. But the fact is that he said it, and it's associated with him forever, made it almost impossible for a brand like the Raiders, and more importantly, the brand like the Shield, which the NFL holds to the highest levels of esteem. They know for a fact that tens of millions of people are sitting on their butts on a Sunday watching this product. It's the greatest form of reality TV. It's exciting and entertaining. There's highs, there's lows, there's up, there's downs, there's emotional joy, and there's guys, people who are distraught breaking TVs. The emotional span of the NFL on any given Sunday is massive, and so it's so greatly affiliated with fandom and people, and so you end up, I think, at least fans end up being a part of a team and in feeling associated or connected to the individuals that are a part of this massive broadcast entertainment platform that now it's become. And so when anyone, whoever it may be, threatens that, they have to go.
No question.
Is that monetary or moral? I don't know. It's a combination of both.
Why do they have to go? Because they threaten the ultimate ability to make money.
I think any corporation would do this, right? And this is right.
I hope so.
It comes down to right and wrong.
I would think so now.
It comes down to right and wrong.
Yes.
And
yes.
This was just wrong. And
no doubt.
You don't need to over-explain it. You don't need to dig deep into the rhetorical basket to find an excuse. It's right versus wrong. It's just clearly, grossly wrong. And he paid the ultimate consequence for it and is now out of the league and probably will forever be remembered for this, despite how great he was as a coach early on in his career.
And nobody could tell me that, Jon Gruden didn't have some real authentic relationships with minorities where, He loved them, and he cared about them, and he helped them. But it doesn't matter. To Tiki's point, it does not matter when you take a brush the size of a Mack truck in one swooping shot. You just basically disregard the feelings and the emotions and the plight of basically everybody.
Yeah.
You got to go. What I had an issue, aside from the fact that he wasn't suspended for a game at least, but I just like the optics, and I know he's the quarterback and he's white and it's all good, but like I needed more yesterday than Derek Carr. First of all, Jon Gruden saying, I'm done with this. No, you don't have the right to determine the timeline on something like this, John. Number one, and we said that yesterday, we're not, playing Monday morning quarterback.
Said that because he knew what else was coming.
No, I know he was trying to shut off all the questions. We know that. But, also I thought it was awkward or not fully whole, not fully complete, that the only player, at least that I heard and saw, that came out and really expanded on what John wrote in those emails was Derek Carr. And in a league that's 70% minority, you just knew that was inconsistent with the composition of the locker room. And I thought that was a bad look. I mean, as much as Gruden's the villain here, the Raiders butchered this from every angle. Not Derek Carr, but the Raiders did.
You can't.
No, not Derek Carr. Not Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is the leader of
not
that
Derek
team,
Carr.
Offensively, maybe even as a team as a whole. He's been there a long time. He's the $100 million quarterback. He's the leader. He's the one that should have spoke. And I think, honestly, these guys were processing this in real time. And to think that this had no effect on what happened on the field, it of course it did. And from a organization standpoint, forget the NFL side for a second. From the Oakland Raiders standpoint, Mark Davis decision-making point, not that Mike Mayock, who is the general manager, would concur or agree because he kind of came in tied to Jon Gruden, so I'm sure there's loyalties there that are hard to break through. But from a Mark Davis standpoint, you got to know that this is affecting this locker room, right? It's not something that's easily forgivable when you see all of this and these thoughts that he expressed so openly via email to Bruce Allen when he was with the Washington football team. How did these guys know that he doesn't still think that way?
That's
right. And so there's no way that he would earn the respect back of that locker room.
I agree with you.
And so Mark Davis had to fire him, or at least he, whatever you want to call it,
resignation.
Yeah.
Well, if he resigns, he's not getting money. I mean, not that we care about the $60 or $50 million left on the deal. That's almost inconsequential to the conversation.
Jon Gruden's got more than enough money to not have to worry about anything. It's not even about the money.
No, but it could prevent them from going after another big name coach. If they got to pay John the next 5 years, $50 million, are they paying somebody big bucks or are they going the cheap route? Yeah. I think that's important for a team that lacks cash flow.
Yeah, the bigger thing is that they have a ton of cap space. So, I mean, this job is interesting, but they're in troubled waters for a little bit now because I don't know how this team focuses. Rich Bisaccia, who is the special teams coordinator, who's now the interim head coach, has got maybe one of the more monumental tasks in the NFL this year to get this team, which has talent, right?
Yep.
Good to get them back on track in a very short amount of time before they fall to irrelevancy because of all that's gone on over the last couple of weeks.
I don't think they're that good. I haven't thought that they're that good. Again, somewhat immaterial to the conversation, but I don't. Like if this happened to the Bills, I mean, right now you'd say, this team might be in the Super Bowl. Like the Raiders are, in my opinion, a half a step above a middling franchise right now. They've collapsed 2 years in a row. They're not scoring with consistency. I don't think they're very good. So I think if they just fall down the standings, I don't know how do you correlate it to this absence of leadership, this lack of trust, this disconnect from the players.
It definitely doesn't help.
No, I know.
He's the play caller.
I know.
Right? Anytime a coach leaves in the middle of a season, it's just disruptive because now every single player, every single one of them is saying, all right, well, I got to prove myself to another coach now. I had a decent relationship with Jon Gruden. He saw my value specifically to what he wanted to do to this team. Now someone else is coming in. I'm out. Same thing's going to happen with the coaching staff. This disrupts so many things. And I heard this earlier today, and it's so true. The trust of the team, the coaching staff, really the organization is all put on the head of the head coach of an NFL team. And when you betray that trust the way that he had, and not currently, but how he did, and it comes back to bite him, it destroys a lot of what's going on inside the building.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.